Monsters as metaphor. I've written a lot of stories and books about monsters and the fantastic and the paranormal. But when I sit down to write about a monster, I don't say to myself, oh, I want to write a werewolf story. Rather, I say, my protagonist, my character, what is the emotional journey they're going on? What is the challenge they face? And when I say that, I mean a real life equivalent. Maybe they're scared of something. Maybe they need to learn to believe in themselves or something. And then when I think of the antagonistic force, I ask myself, what monster best represents this emotional journey that I want my character to go on? So, monster as metaphor. Let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about. My first book, The Page Turners, is a vampire book. But what this story is about a young man who falls in love and gets his first girlfriend. But over the course of the book, the vampire hypnotizes the girlfriend and basically enslaves her and makes him her partner. And what this story is about this young man's fear that someone older, cooler, more powerful is going to come along and steal his girlfriend. So that's a very real world, relatable emotion, but I communicate it in the story via the monster of the vampire. So I didn't start with vampire, I started with fear or jealousy of losing a girlfriend, and then I represented that in the story via the vampire character. The second book in the series, The Page Turner's Economy of Fear, is a bit of a science fiction book, and the main character is abducted by aliens. And what they do is they keep him in this little cell, but then once a day, they come in the morning, they crush him onto this transport where there's a ton of other abductees are all crushed together. They move them across this ship, and then they hoard them out, and they're basically slave labor, and they make them work. So I'm writing about aliens, about giant spaceships, but at the time that I was writing this book, I had just finished my master's and I was going to take some time off for my PhD, which I never ended up getting back around to, but I got a job at the Canadian federal government to kill some time. So I thought it ended up being years. But what that meant was, for the first time in my life, I was getting up very early every morning, going out and getting on public transit, riding a bus all across town, crushed in with strangers, other people, and then going to work in a cubicle in an office doing a job I didn't particularly love. And so this second Page Turner's book, while it appears to be a science fiction novel, appears to be an alien abduction story, what it's really about is what it feels like to have your first job or to become an adult and for the first time kind of get into this grind and drudgery of doing the same thing day after day after day. So, real world experience, real world feelings, but communicated via a monster. I'll give you one last example. I recently wrote a short story. It was based on this idea that when I was in high school, my girlfriend's father passed away from colon cancer. And I'd heard somewhere along the way that a symptom of colon cancer is a slick, orally black feces. And so I guess there'd been this fear in the back of my mind all my life that someday I was going to go to the bathroom and there's going to be slick, black, oily feces in the toilet. Gross, creepy, frightening stuff. But what I did in this story is I equated that with a boy who's being raised by a single mother who wakes him up in the middle of the night and asks him to go get this snake out of the toilet. This black snake has come up through the pipes, and as a young man, he has to remove it because he doesn't have a father there. And the mother's asking him to. So, was this really a story about a black snake? No, it was a story about colon cancer, but I represented it, that fear of colon cancer, via this terrifying black snake. So what I'm talking about here is monsters aren't just conventions and tropes that we can use to tell a story. They're also vehicles through which we can communicate real human emotion and real experiences is. And so my starting place with my writing is never what monster do I want to write about. I say, what human emotion, what experience do I want to write about? What scares me? What excites me? What do I think is funny? And then I say, what monster best represents that emotional journey? So monster as metaphor.